Hi everybody. Wanted to pop on just for a little bit today. Not too long because I've got a pretty busy day ahead. I had a lot of orders come in over the last few days, which is great. I gotta catch up on some of that, and I am getting ready to do my first custom journal. So I've got that to plan out, and after getting orders ready yesterday, the craft room is a mess, which I think was the case the last time I was on here. So there may be a pattern to that, but I've got to get that under control before I can get any further, I think. But I just want to come on for a little bit today to show what I've been making over the past few days. But before we do that, I just had to show a couple things because I want some opinions. I got a couple things at the thrift store yesterday. First, like for $1.50, I got all of this fabric. Haven't opened it up yet to see how big the pieces are, but there looks to be quite a bit in here, and I really love this one. I think I can maybe make a nice journal cover out of that. All of them really, but especially this one, and maybe do a lavender theme or something with that. Then I have this one. It's fairly thin, but I think maybe I could back it with some heat and bond and maybe another fabric on the back of it, and it might be okay. But I think I might try tea dyeing it and seeing how it turns out. And I might use that for the custom journal that I have coming up. I'm not sure. We'll have to see what it looks like once it's been tea dyed. But I could not pass that up for $1. My big find, though, was something hopefully to help me be a little bit more organized. And I don't even think that this is going to be able to get into frame. It is this wooden chest. I think it was probably for silverware because it has the inside, which I'm probably going to try to take out and maybe recover the interior. I don't know, but it has a drawer in the bottom. I'm not sure how I'm going to use it. I don't know if I maybe do stamps and inks, because I don't have a huge amount, but it would be nice to put them somewhere. I don't know. If anybody has any ideas, I'd be interested to know, so leave me a comment. But I think I might take this off, maybe do some chalk paint, but I got it for $6. So we'll see where that takes me. It's got handles on the sides. It's in good condition, so just have to make it look a little more to my taste. So we'll see. But if you have ideas, please leave them in the comments. So today I was just going to do a quick tutorial on these little slides that I've been making. I've been doing a botany theme and then a entomology theme, and who knows what else I might end up adding in the future, but they're a lot of fun to make, and I think that they would go great in journals and other crafts. So just to show you a little bit of how I put them together, I have a Cricut, and I got on the Design Space and I created this shape out of a couple sizes of squares, and then welded, and if you're familiar with Cricut, you'll probably know those terms, welded the rounded corners to make this shape of a projector slide. And here comes Devin. Hi, Devin. Hi. So I made the shape on my Cricut, and I've just been cutting out sheets of these things. But if you don't have a cutting machine that you can do this with, I believe they do make a die, and I will try to find the link to that. I don't have a die cutting machine other than my Cricut, so I'm not really familiar with those, but maybe someone out there can point us in that direction, or I can try to find a link. I think you could also take a couple, maybe even just one size of square punch if you wanted to cut a square, and then punch out a smaller square in the center. This is an 1.25 inch square inside, and then you would just round the corners on the outside. You could get the same effect. I just slightly off-centered this. I just moved it up just a tiny bit to give it a little bit more down here at the bottom. I think that looks more like a slide frame. But you know, you could certainly do that. I just find that my Cricut is a lot easier because I can make a lot of these at once, and I've been cutting a lot of them lately. I'm gonna move this just a little bit because I feel like I'm too far back. But what I have been doing on the images is I've been printing them on vellum. And if you've never printed on vellum before, the best tip that I can give you is to, now I use an inkjet printer, so I'm only familiar with that really, but the best tip that I could give you is to back it on a piece of cardstock and just run a strip of washi tape at least on the leading edge of the printer where it feeds through, but it would probably be best to also run a few on the outer edges, just a small bit to help hold that down, or even on the corners. But I find that helps the vellum to go through the printer a lot better, and sometimes you have to kind of be there to help guide it through. It sometimes doesn't want to grab very easy, it seems like. So once you have printed your images onto the vellum, let it sit for a while because the ink will still be a little bit wet, and you'll want to make sure that that is really dry and doesn't smear when you work with your project. So that's what I do. I print images onto the vellum in miniature form so that they will fit within this little area. And then, I mean, it's really very, very simple. What I do is I take the image that I've cut out to size, and sometimes you have to play around with the size a little bit. That's probably the hardest part, is making sure that you get the image the correct size for the frame. And then I just kind of set it on there and run a bead of glue. I'm using art glitter glue just because of the small nozzle. I have used Fabri-Tac, but the nozzle's a little bit bigger, and so sometimes it does tend to make a little bit more of a mess. So you can see I'm just kind of going over the edges of the vellum image as well as the edge of the slide cut. And then I take a second one and I just place that over the top so that the piece of vellum is sandwiched in between the two sides of the slide. I think this would be great for, you know, if you do pressed flowers and you have a couple pieces of acetate and a pressed flower in the center, sandwiched between the two slides. I think that would be really, really pretty. You can use these in journals, in the pockets and tucks and that sort of thing. I also thought about maybe taking a little eyelet in the corner and hanging it off of a garment pin. Hi, Devin. Or a paper clip or something, and kind of just attaching it to the journal and doing it that way. Hi. Just a minute. Almost done. So I think there's a lot of things you can use these for in your journals, and just kind of give a little bit extra detail and make them look nice. This one I inked a little bit around the edges just to kind of give it a little different look. So I've done these in the natural color. I've done ones in the traditional white slides, and then I've also done some in the craft color. And so I'll probably use both of them. I've got a lot of nature themed ideas coming up, and hopefully a new kit coming out with a forest theme, and that's going to kind of that's been in the works for a little while, so that's something that I'll probably use those in. But they're a lot of fun to make. I've been making hundreds of them over the last few days. I do have them in my Etsy store if you're interested. I sell them right now in sets of 10 with your choice of either the insects or the plants and trees mushroom theme, and your choice of color on the slides. So that is all I have for today. I've got to get busy. I've got a digital that I want to get up listed today for another kit that I've been working on, and I've got some tea dyeing to do. So until next time, I hope you find time today to make something beautiful. See ya. Bye.